Yo, JD here, Tyrolimus, and as you can see, we are back in AOR for a brand new season, and this is season 14, starting out Australia here today. And as you can also see, I'm in the Toro Rosso, which I think looks amazing in this game, and I mentioned it in my previous video, the reason why I chose this car, so I won't go over it again, but I just really get along with this. It really suits my driving style basically. So coming into this race, was I confident? To be honest, in the dry, in qualifying, the controller seems to lose time in the last sector for the left-right chicane. That's just the nature of how it is, but I was doing pretty quick times. I was doing that 0.3s, which would have been enough for about P4 around here, I think, so there's no way I could challenge for pole. But I think I could get in top 4, top 5 on the grid. And in the race, if I could actually stay behind the leader, then I think I could stay with the leader. But in terms of overtaking them and pulling away, I don't think that's really an option around here. It's just how it is, really. Not only because of just the controller, I think being one of the weaker tracks, but for also just me personally in the dry, it's not really my favourite track. So coming through here now, this is the corner, so left, right. Taking that really nice in this lap. The first corner, taking a little bit too much curb in the first corner, but taking that really nicely. And it's a steady lap so far. I've corner cut my first 2 laps, so I'm actually currently bossing it kind of at the moment. So I'm into my last 2 laps, so doing 2 runs in this tyre. As you can see, we're catching up to Jason as well. He's about to start a lap, so I think he was just saving his tyres for this lap, one last run. Got a little bit wide on the exit there, losing a bit of speed, but going across the line now, and we managed to do a 21.6, which is okay. It's not great, but in qualifying or in the practice, I was doing constant 4s and 0.3s on a really good lap. So I think the quickest times are a 0 at the moment, which was something we definitely can't get. But if we can get a 0.3, I'll be pretty happy with that. But really excited to be back in this season. Don't have to say what I'm aiming for. I think everyone knows how badly I want to win the championship. I don't need to really go over it. I'm more determined and more hungry than I've ever been. And coming into this race, despite, as I said, not being a favourite track of mine, I was really well prepared for this race, which is something I haven't done for the last two seasons, really, or the last 2 games. Mainly because I just didn't enjoy the handling model in those games, but on this one, I thought I really enjoyed the handling model, and I just had this new sense of motivation to really just grind it again. And as I said, I just felt really well prepared for this race. But you can see we've actually caught up to Jason on our lap, unfortunately, as we're actually up on our time as well. And yeah, we made a little bit of a mistake there, so we're not going, and we're going on the grass now, so we're not going to improve. So it looks like we're going to have to stick with that 0.6. But as I said, I felt really prepared for this one in all conditions, and I think even in the dry, I think if we got a 0.3, that would have been enough. That could have even been P4. Could have actually been P2 if we did our PB. So the pace is there. I felt I had the pace, and I felt I've had that in every race I've done so far in this game. So we've got 5 outs now, and the way we're going, as you can see, it's a full wet race, which I did prepare for. As I said, I did a fair amount of wet practice for this because I was always testing it on dynamic, and it was actually going wet quite a lot. So. But we're using our dry setup as we made a little bit of position up through there. So I think we've actually lost position as Bam Lee's actually gone on the grass. So I think we just maintained our 6th place at the moment and being very, very cautious into here now, because we know under the bonnet, and as we saw from last game, I really enjoy the wet conditions, and it hasn't really changed for this game either. I really do just love how precise you have to be, and just how cautious you have to be, and how daring you have to be on the throttle. That's something I really, really enjoy. The reason why I like the wet so much as well. But you can see now we actually lost the car a little bit as well. So on this first lap, I wasn't feeling too confident after a few corners. The grip wasn't really there, because in practice I wasn't really behind anyone in practice when I was doing this. So dirty air is a big thing in this game, if you haven't realised, or if you haven't played the game yourself. Dirty air, when you're behind another car, you actually lose downforce. It's quite a big effect on this. So we're in 6th place at the moment, and I was thinking right now that we've got the pace to at least get a podium or do something in this race. All we have to do is learn from our previous mistakes in previous seasons of just taking our time, picking the moves as they come, And just knowing that we have the pace, so you can see the day again. Look how wide we've actually gone through that corner there. But that's the difference for me in this game. This game, I believe in myself a lot more. I believe I have the pace to win races as long as I drive my best. If I drive my best, then there's always going to be a chance that I can win the race, and that's something I didn't have in the previous games. And the previous games, the previous 2 games, the 15 and 16, I just didn't really play it as much because I just didn't like the handling. But in this one, I really do love it. As we're going down the inside now, Taylor Laval, so we're making a position up into 5th place now, and that's just giving me a little bit of burst of confidence because now we're starting to feel the tyres come in. I'm starting to feel the grip of where it is on the track now. So going to 5th gear as the track ends, that's where you want to turn in. But yeah, as I said, on this game, the difference is that I just believe in myself more, and I believe that I can actually do it if I really pull it out of the bag and really not make any mistakes. And I know in the locker that there is the potential there to actually do something. But right now, I was just focusing on corner by corner, and I said that to myself before the race as well. As Evo has actually hit the wall, so we're going to make up possibly another position. We've got a surprise man in front of us, and you can see our wing, the 7.6 wing we're using around here, is working very, very well at this point. And trying to navigate this chicane, very, very easy to corner cut, but he managed to take that nicely. And now we've got a very good run, so this could be up into a podium position from 7th on the grid. We're going to go down the inside, and we've actually managed to somehow go down the inside, leaving room in the exit as well. And that is us up into 3rd position, and we've got about a 2-second gap now. We'll be able to see going across the line, a 2-second gap now onto the leaders. And now I think at this point I said to myself, I'm going to win this race. That this is my best chance to win a race in such a long time. And as we go across the line now, so we'll see what the gap is. It is exactly 2 seconds. So as I said, 2 seconds gap. Setting the fastest lap on that just ever so slightly as we were overtaking cars as well. So that now it's time to go. Now it's to go flat out and do what we could do. And I feel this lap was probably, it sounds silly, but this was one of the most important laps of the race because it just demonstrates of what pace we've got, and it sends a message to the guys in front, the people who are leading. If they can see how much faster you're going behind them, it's always going to ring alarm bells. And I think mind games and psychology, and not just racing or online in this, but in like anything, is a huge thing. There's a lot of people who've got a lot of talent. I reckon a lot of people in this league, I reckon, can win races, but I think it's down to the mental aspect of it, and that's something I just didn't have for the past 2 years, to be honest. On the previous games, I just didn't have it, and now I feel it's back. And I just feel like I did in 2013 again, where if you deliver, then you can get results. As long as you're consistent, then you can definitely get results. But now we're not thinking of that. We're thinking of just one corner at a time, focusing on the braking points and pretending that this is a custom race. That's honestly what I was saying to myself right now, that forget that it's an AOR race, forget that it's a huge race that you haven't won an AOR race in almost 2 years. Try and forget all those stats and everything like that, but just do everything you can and just drive the best you can. And if I don't win, I don't win. You can't be unhappy with that, but I was very, very hungry to win. As you can see, we're gone almost a second faster than the guys ahead of us now. So this is only just adding more and more confidence to us right now. And I wanted to win this. I knew this is going to be a really good opportunity for me to win, because I feel on the dry it would have been incredibly difficult, especially overtaking cars as well. It would have been very, very difficult to try and win this race. But this track is probably one of my like damaged imitation-esque kind of tracks. So I think I mentioned it before the Grand Prix as well. So I was going to take a top 5 around here. If I could get a top 5, and then we move on to some of my best tracks coming up through the season and take advantage there. But we're going to do everything we can in these conditions to try and maximise it. And I was just really hungry to just not prove people wrong at all, because I'm not really like that, but just to prove to myself that really, not to try and prove anyone else, but to prove to myself that I could still actually do it on F1 in this game. But you can see we've actually cruised up to the back of STFS Alonso now, and now we're in the dirty air, so it's incredibly difficult to get past. Obviously there's no DRS in these conditions as Alonso runs a little bit on the curb there, so now we've got a good exit coming on to end of lap 6, starting lap 7, and he's not going to defend this, so we're going to go down the inside and see if we can outbrake him. So braking early because you don't want to understeer into him. We're going a little bit deep as Alonso goes a bit deep as well, and let's see if we can get good exit off here, but he manages to get about the same exit as us, and I don't think we're going to do anything going into turn 3. A little bit too far back, but thinking about it, but we've got plenty of grip as he actually goes out wide now, so trying to apply maximum pressure, because I thought if I could get past Alonso, then I feel we have enough pace to actually go to the back of Finn and challenge for the win. So these laps are crucial now, absolutely crucial, but now it's us three locked all together, and Alonso's closed up to the back of his brother, and we've just gone along with him. And now we're just being patient. We're not going to try and do anything drastic or anything at the moment, because I feel at the end of the race that we could do something. But Alonso seems to struggle in that corner. He seems to get some bad traction off that corner. And I saw that as an opportunity for maybe possibly that in future laps to see. But now trying to get a good exit off here, so going on a throttle, taking the later apex. Really important around here. So taking the early apex this time, trying to avoid these curves. So you can see the dirty air. It makes it even harder, as our tyre wear is on about 48%, so it's not too bad at the moment. I think you can get in the 60s and 70s, run away with it for there. We can see going to turn 1 now, using his curb. Notice they both go out wide and we take a straighter line. That's something I definitely picked up in the wet, to try and stay as tight as possible when you're actually going on traction, like exiting the corner. I felt that was a really, really big advantage, and something I applied to most of the corners around here when I was doing it. But you can see here, got to attack this corner. 5th gear, you have no choice but to attack this one. 7th gear, going down 3 gears for this, and try and attack this, but try not to run too much on this curb. Keep this car straight before going flat out, and stay as tight as possible. Really important here to stay as tight as possible. But for this corner, 100-meter board, take as much curb as possible. Try and avoid the curb, just kiss it at the end as the curb stops, and then that straight line. As you can see, we get a good exit coming off here. It's something I feel really, really works, not just around here, but I think in the wet in general. You can see left-hander through this really, really tricky chicane, actually missing the curb, so he could have took a lot more curb in the entry there, or on the exit of the corner. And as I said, at this point, we're just taking our time, because I feel we're just waiting for a mistake, as actually Alonso has done exactly that. He's actually made a mistake, so we've gone into 2nd place in this race, and now it is crucial that we keep him behind. We have to keep him behind if we've got any chance of winning this race. He goes a little bit deep, so we actually purposely broke quite late there, just in case he tried to do that around the outside, which he did. But now we're going to follow Finn into the pits. We're not going to go for an extra lap, as we may have done in previous seasons. We're learning from our lesson. We'll actually go copy what these guys do in strategy, because I felt if we just copy what we do, I felt we had the pace on them. So if we just copy what they do, then we have a chance of winning this race, because if we went along an extra lap, we could have been undercut massively. But we managed just to get ahead of Alonso, and that is crucial in itself. If we stay behind him again, it could have been a completely different race from here on out. But Finn looks like he's got a really good pit stop, so I think we actually did get held there for Alonso, but we actually kind of spawned inside each other. But luckily I managed to be the one coming out on top going into there. And now Finn, I think he's got about a 2 or so second lead now, and now it's game on. Now it's just to give it everything you've got, put all the cards on the table, and just show how fast you can actually go in these conditions. And I think we're going to stay on board for the next 3 laps, because the next 3 laps are the race, really. They are what makes the race for me personally, and I just really hope you enjoy it, and I'll be talking through the laps to do themselves. But see, moving on to the intermediates now, because the track was definitely drying out. The times were definitely tumbling down, whilst tyre wear was getting worse, which is normally a good indication that it's going to be intermediate tyres. But special shout out to Stu, my teammate as well, who I was in the party chat with. He actually went on the intermediates a couple of laps before and said they were pretty good then. So that made it a pretty easy decision to go on the intermediates. But yeah, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to pit too early, because not only because of just tyre wear, but also I just wanted to just copy what these guys did in case it backfired on me. I just wanted to end the race saying that I did everything I did everything that they did in the race, so there's no regrets on the strategy or anything like that, because that's something that's let me down the past couple of seasons. Sometimes we've had the pace, but it's just a strategy, particularly in the wet. Sometimes it has really cost me, I think, a couple of wins in the past 2 seasons. But now let's see what we can do. And this is going to be important. So about 1.8 seconds behind here now, and we've got to set the fastest lap this next lap. If we can do that, that's going to send a message to Finn that we're the faster guy in this tyre. And here we go. This is absolutely everything we're going to do. So third gear for going through here now, and keeping it in third gear for this. Fourth gear, I think, bogs the car down a little bit too much. Avoid the curb and the exit. As the barrier ends, that's where we turn in fifth gear. Really got to attack this corner. But going into Rich, we're using everything we've got right now. Just before the orange barrier, that's the turning point. Take half this curb. Do not touch this curb and the exit. Keep the car straight and stay mega tight. Rich mix, super tight. The car's trying to get away from us, but we managed to hold it just before the 100 meter board. 120 meters out. Kiss that apex. Kiss this one as well, but try and get a bit of a straighter line, and that's a little bit too much curb in that corner, but still managed to get quite a decent exit. And now going for his left-right chicane. Brake very early. Goes slow in, fast out. So stay as far left as possible. Could have took more curb there, but still a pretty decent corner coming off this now. And going now into this double right-hander. Won't be braking just before the 100 meter board. Do a late apex in this one. Try and avoid this curb, but that's okay. Just before the back box, fourth gear, stay in this. Go up into it, avoid this curb and the exit. Want to brake into this, do a really late apex. Very crucial to do that because you actually get early on the throttle doing it that way. Just before the green light, that's where you want to be turning in. Keep the car straight as possible here. And now let's see what lap times we can do here. So now Finn has done a 37.4 and we've done a 37.4 as well. And you may think that's silly, but that is so important that we did a faster lap than Finn there, because if he did a faster lap than us, that would only give him confidence that he would have more pace in the tyres than he does in us. So that was crucial, even if it was a thousandth quicker, which it wasn't far off that. It just sends a message to him that we're matching him on pace at least, so he cannot make any mistakes, and we've just got to put him under much pressure as possible now. But we're driving flat out. We're just going to give it everything we got, because I didn't want to come second. I really wanted to win this race, and now thoughts were slowly starting to go into my mind about not winning the race for ages and having a few opportunities in the wet before on 2016, and despite me, as I said, not being a fan of the game, I had a couple of opportunities in that game in the wet where we were very quick on pace in that game in the wet, and we bottled it in terms of strategy around that and making mistakes as well. So now this is my opportunity for me to actually get that demon off my back and get a race win, which has been since season 10 at Brazil. So it's been a very long time, but we won't go give this up, as Finn has actually gone a little bit deep there. So we were sensing he's actually starting to become a little bit under pressure. He's running out on the curb as well, which is not going to give him good traction. Braking late, trying to make that arrow appear on his car. That's what my intention was there, to brake late and just to make him aware that we're within the proximity arrow. And now we can see he's defending a little bit through here. So now let's see what kind of lap we do. And we've done another fastest lap. That's a really quick lap, half a second quicker now. And again, I think we gained almost a second that lap. So as you can see, he's taken a wide line, but we take a tight line. Look how much speed we've gained. And we've actually dropped Alonso behind us as well. So I think he may be struggling on these tyres, but now braking super late. And we've got the confidence at the moment. I was feeling very good in these tyres. And now it's going to be incredibly hard to get past him unless he makes a mistake. But I was so determined, and I think you can probably see that through the driving as well. Going purple once again and taking that really nice, and you can see straight line up here, which gives us a really good exit. But I was just so determined to just do everything I can to win this race. If I give it everything and I still don't win, I could be happy, because I haven't made any mistakes this race so far. So coming off here now again, taking a tight line gives you a really good exit, and now we've got a good slipstream coming into here now. So braking, we're going to brake really early, so let him have the corner, stay far left as possible. As you can see here, taking a lot of curb in that entry, which we managed to do. And now let's see, don't think we're going to be close enough going to this double right, but now we're all in his mirrors now, so he should be getting quite nervous. But it's the flying Finn. He's very good under pressure, which you've been able to see the past couple of seasons. So keeping it in fourth gear, let's see what he does. He runs on that curb again, which is something that is not good. You're definitely going to lose traction off here. Turning a bit early this time, just to try and put him under as much pressure as possible. And now let's see what we could do. We managed to get a decent exit up here, and let's see what the straight line speed is. I'm running a dry setup, so I'm running the wings I would usually use in a dry, because I actually practice this. and it was working out pretty well. But you can see he's gone a little bit deep, and let's see what he does. He takes a wide line again, so you notice he goes very, very wide here, and now this is as close as we've ever been. So let's see if we're probably thinking about go down for a move down the inside turn 3, but it's just a little bit too late. So not 100% committed in case we actually understeered into him, but just to let him know we're now in the position to actually start attacking him, and we're going to try and win this race. And I was just trying to put him under as much pressure as possible. And you can see he's running on the curb now, so running a bit wide in corners. So I was feeling if we can keep this up, as again he runs very, very wide. So we're going to go think about it down the inside, but decide to think better of it this time. He takes her incredibly early apex, so this, we can't get any closer than this. But as you can see there, we almost lost the car, and that is just a gentle reminder that we are in wet conditions, so we cannot take liberties in this race. But you can see now, let's see if we get a good exit, actually using the curb this time. I'm going to try and stay mega tight, but if you turn too much, you will actually spin out in the wet. So we had to go a little bit wider this time, braking very, very late, so being really, really aggressive. And you'll be able to see trail braking is a must in these conditions. So you look on the bottom right hand side, and again our pace, both of our pace are very, very good at the moment. So going into this, let him have the corner, try and get a better exit using the curb here, which he managed to do quite nicely. And again, I think this is probably the closest we're going to be, but we're not going to really overtake here. It's a little bit too much of a tight corner to do it. But as you can see, making a little bit of a late apex, but getting really, really good traction now off here. And let's see what happens. He's going out wide again, so thinking possibly down the inside as we go up. We're going to do a little bit of a move down the inside. He's actually giving us room on the inside as well. A little bit of contact there, but now he's really vulnerable. And now this is the opportunity. This is the moment we have got. And now he's actually defending, so we're going to force him to defend into turn 1. So let's see what we can do now. Hold it in 7th gear, just before the 100-meter board. Brake really early. Let him have the corner and then go for the switchback. That was my plan, to let him go in deep and then get a much better exit, which we've managed to do. And we're in rich mix going down into this corner, spotting the braking point, but braking that extra 20 meters later. Braking just about keeping on track, which actually banged wheels as well. So we're going into turn 4. Just about keeping on track, and again just about keeping on track, and that is us into the lead of AOR season 14 this Grand Prix. And that was such a relief to finally get that opportunity to get that move done, and I was really, really happy. But now my focus was just on corner by corner. I was not going to let it get to me that we're potentially in a position to win the first race of the season in this. And I've learned that from the last 2 seasons where I've been in a good position, and I've kind of let my mind go to rest by thinking, oh, this would be amazing if we could win this race. Something to do good highlights about or tweet about after the race. That was not in my mind. My mind was purely on just focusing on corner by corner, like there was still 50 laps to go. But as you can see, we've actually gone in deep. We've gone in deep there, and a little bit of contact again, so that just shows we cannot lose any concentration. Trying to get a good exit now onto this, as we managed to do quite nicely. Just luckily we got a good exit onto that last corner, and again that's another reminder that we cannot lose focus at this moment. So going through turn 1, try and keep a tight line, as you managed to do quite nicely. And let's see, he's probably not close enough to actually overtake us at this point. And in my mind now, I would be lying if I said about me not winning a race for quite a while wasn't on my mind. But I learned, as I said from previous seasons, that you've just got to focus on the race at hand and just forget about anything outside the race or anything. And right now I was focusing on that 100-meter board, hitting this apex and not clipping this curb too much. I was just focusing on millimeter by millimeter at this point. I wasn't thinking about there's only 1 lap race, well, 1 lap to go. I was just focusing on just getting these braking points and pretending like it was in a custom GP and there was still about 50 laps to go. That was my mindset, and I felt that really, really helped me by just managing to just calm myself, and it just allowed me to really kind of relax and just show what I could do and my potential on this game. And it feels really, really good to finally take the demons off my back and actually deliver what I knew I could do. As I said, it wasn't me trying to prove it to anyone else or anyone who doubted me or anything. I knew I could do it. It's just a case of just putting everything together, and I just needed that one race to put it together to just give me that belief in myself back. And this race is one of the best races I've ever done, because I started from 7th, and this win wasn't given to me. I had to really work hard for it. Actually losing 2 seconds after the pit stop as well, having to overtake some people. It was incredibly difficult against probably one of the most competitive AOR grids ever as well. And we are coming across the last corner now to win the first round of AOR Season 14, and I was so happy. That was unbelievable how happy I was there. And I just want to say thank you to people who did believe in me. You don't really realise how much it actually means. I know it's only a game, but I think others can say how much people take this, how seriously people take this. And I was just so happy with myself that I could finally do it again. And it just gave me the belief again that I can do it. And yeah, I just couldn't put into words how happy I was. And thank you so much for the messages I've been getting. I've read every single one. I just didn't want to spam my timeline, but just responded to every single one. But believe me, I'm so grateful. And this season now, I've always thought at the start of this game that I've got what it takes to do it, to win. But I'm not going to really make that prediction. I'm just going to take it one race at a time. I know what I can do, and I'm just going to try and execute that every single race. So thank you so much for the support. I really hope you enjoyed this video as well. And I will see you at next round, which is China, which will be next weekend. And I'm really looking forward to that. So thank you so much. And I will see you next time. Cheers.